I am hopping back on Carnivore. This video is going to be relatively short. I spent most of the time I had designated for making videos this week working on the video I uploaded yesterday or the day before that, which the recording was like 2 hours long. It took a lot of time to edit. So I didn't really have the time to record another talk, but I did want to upload another video, and this seemed like the perfect occasion because I've been playing around with this decision, or turning it over in my head for a while now. And in case you're wondering why I'm out of breath, I just finished a 2.5 hour workout, something like that, which is why I'm kind of flush as well. Why am I getting back on the carnivore diet? I talked about a lot of the benefits that I experienced when I tried the carnivore diet properly for the first time at the beginning of this year, which was the only one of my videos that really took off, sort of in relation to the very minuscule amount of subscribers that my channel has. And I talked about a lot of positive aspects, a lot of positive effects that I noticed on the carnivore diet in that video. And a great thing about the 4 weeks that I was on carnivore is, first of all, I got a sort of idea for how long it takes my body to adjust to that type of diet. But more importantly, I learned a lot of valuable lessons about how much food I need to eat in a day. So how not to starve myself, and what types of meat I agree with, I enjoy, what types of meat I like to eat if we're talking the long term. Like if I'm only eating meat, there are certain types of meat that I might enjoy on a more normal diet, but I noticed I'm not that fond of when I'm actually just eating meat. And these specific types of things were really a big takeaway for me from that experiment, from that 4-week experience. And since then, I went on and off carnivore for a time in the late spring and early summer of this year. But for the most part, I went back to my normal diet, which is very high protein still, but certainly has a lot of carbs. And especially over the summer, as some of you might know, some of you who may have seen my recent vlog, where I talked about nutrition and where I showed my training to an extent. And some of you who may have seen that video know I got a lot more serious about bulking up and really increasing my physical size. Not necessarily for aesthetic reasons, but more so because I want to maximize my muscle growth while I'm still young, while my hormone profiles are good for building muscle. Because once you've built that muscle, it's a lot easier to maintain it or to gain it back when you've lost some over a period of time where you might have lost a bit of weight due to traveling or whatever. So I really want to gain most of the muscle mass I can gain, a lot of the muscle mass I can gain, now that I still have or it's not like I'm it's not like I'm turning 35 tomorrow or something like that. But while I still have good uh, prerequisites for gaining muscle, I want to take advantage of that and then do things like cuts or chiseling out a physique that is more optimal for endurance and stuff like that later on. I'm still going to keep training in a more general, a more functional way. I'm not by any means doing a classic bodybuilding training or anything like that, but I am certainly focusing on growing in size. And where was I going with this? I was talking about the fact that, yeah, I've really gotten into bulking more seriously, as perhaps, I don't know, you're able to tell. This is actually a pretty funny angle. This arm looks pretty big, and this arm looks fucking tiny because it's further away from the camera than my head. Of course, this is not a question of perspective. It's just that this is the arm I use for jerking off, and this is my offhand. Anyways, since I've gotten more serious, rather, about bulking, I have gone fairly heavy on the carbs. I've also eaten a lot more fat. This is actually one of the positives I took with me from the carnivore diet, is I realized my diet prior to the carnivore diet was a relatively high quality diet, but it was actually a little low on fat. And not because I was intentionally cutting out fats, but because the foods I naturally gravitated towards were not that high fat. And I wasn't really tracking fat because I wasn't worried about it, because generally speaking, for most people who don't want to get fat, carbs are actually a bigger problem. So I wasn't really looking out for fat. And I ended up eating, in my opinion, looking back at it, not enough fat to maintain healthy levels. And fat, in some cases, if you don't get enough fat, can be very detrimental to testosterone and other hormone levels. So yeah, another big positive is that I just ended up eating more fat even after I wasn't on the carnivore diet anymore. But yeah, I've really been eating a lot of carbs since I started bulking, as most people do, of course, who bulk. And I realized several things, actually. There are multiple reasons why I want to go back to the carnivore diet, and why, potentially, this is a more long-term decision. I will not be hopping back on the carnivore diet for a designated amount of time. The reasons are, first of all, the time that I was on the carnivore diet, and in the video itself that I did on my 4 weeks experience, I did mention this fact, was some of the most productive time I had. I'm sure that sentence somehow made sense. Within this year, over the course of this year. Looking back, those 4 weeks, even the times during those 4 weeks where I wasn't as productive as other times during those 4 weeks, those 4 weeks were incredibly productive. And there are multiple reasons for that. And it certainly was in part due to the fact that I was just on a new project. I was doing something new. I started uploading these types of videos, or actually the more long format talk videos, but videos on, training and nutrition and philosophy. And also, I was obviously doing an experiment. I was hopping on the carnivore diet, doing it more properly for the first time. So I got a lot of motivation from that. That really pushed me to be more productive. That really increased my drive, because I was just doing new stuff, which generally speaking, I think motivates people. Um, but I must say that I was also very clear minded and I wasn't as distracted by stuff. I had essentially no brain fog. I was also less sluggish in a more physical sense, not just mentally speaking, but physically. And in terms of my motivation, my drive, when it comes to spending like an hour on a meal while watching something, as opposed to quickly finishing the meal and getting back to work on stuff. I just had a lot of drive during that time. And looking back, it's not like I've not been productive over the course of this year. In fact, I've been very productive. My training progress has been great. There have been, of course, dry spells when it comes to uploading these videos, but I have been uploading and have made videos on a lot of topics that I had been wanting to talk about in some capacity for a long time. I did make significant progress on my writing and university stuff as well. So I have been quite productive. But if I look at limited amounts of time, if I look at months, if I look at specific weeks, I have to be completely honest with myself. My best time, my most productive time was those 4 weeks on Carnivore. And I can't chalk that up completely to being motivated by starting to make these types of videos and trying something new. That's just not accurate. Another thing I talked about in that video is my digestion. And I've really noticed that my digestion is not bad. I want to be clear on that. It's not like I have terrible digestive issues. The few times throughout the year where I've actually eaten some whack food, like burgers, shit like that, I noticed obviously some detrimental effects to my digestion, but generally speaking, my digestion is okay. It's like fairly average. However, I did not notice my digestion when I was on Carnivore, and I'd actually gotten in the flow, like third week, fourth week. It was non-existent, essentially. I mean, obviously I was digesting food, but there was nothing, like I didn't feel anything. I just went to the toilet occasionally. And it's not that my digestion is necessarily bad at the moment, but it's not perfect either. And I do feel kind of full after I've had a big meal that is very carbs heavy. All that being said, I am getting pretty hungry right now. I did just work out for a very long time, and I'm recording this video right after I finished working out. I will probably record my carnivore diet journey because I do think I'm doing something interesting on the carnivore diet, which is continuing to bulk. The carnivore diet, I think, like many diets that are sort of keto-esque, is generally associated with weight loss and more so with health benefits. It's a diet ideally for maintaining a healthy weight or for losing an unhealthy amount of weight. That's what mostly is talked about. So I think a lot of people imagine it's very hard to bulk on a diet that essentially has no carbs. And that's what I'm going to try to do. Now, there are some caveats because I will be eating a lot of eggs. A lot of people consider the carnivore diet to be mainly meat. I will be eating a lot of eggs. I will also be eating a lot of meat. And as I did previously on the carnivore diet, I will also be eating butter. Apart from that, nothing. I will go full carnivore for at least 2 or 3 weeks. After that, because I don't have like a fixed limit, because I'm not going 4 weeks carnivore or anything, I'm not going to be 100% strict necessarily. Like if there's an occasion, a family gathering or whatever, I might eat some food that is not 100% carnivore compatible. But generally speaking, I'm thinking more mid to long term right now about this. I think I generally want this to essentially be my diet from now on, more or less. What I've done is I've actually gone ahead and I've created, based on my ideas surrounding diet and how to diet and how to consistently be on a diet, which I talked about in previous videos. I'm going to link these somewhere up here. I've created a skeleton diet to sort of meet my calorie and protein needs for continuous bulking, to continue to head for my target weights that I want to hit. I will continue to train hard, and I'm very curious to see how this goes, because I haven't heard or seen a lot of people actually trying to bulk up on the carnivore diet. Not saying that no one does that, but I don't think it's a very common topic. And because I'm going to spend a lot of time working on other projects than, uploading these videos in the next couple of weeks, I might record more of these shorter videos, which, actually the video is not that short, I'm just noticing, but of these more improvised, less scripted, less thought out videos, instead of doing these longer talks where I go in depth on a topic. I might do some shorter videos like this where I just sit down and chat a little bit, talk about something that's going through my head at the moment. And we'll see how it goes. I think I'm going to leave it at that. If you have any questions about the carnivore diet, about my bulking goals, my diet goals for the next couple of months, for the foreseeable future, go ahead and comment below. If you enjoyed this video, if you're curious about this journey of bulking on the carnivore diet that I'm about to embark on, go ahead and leave a like and subscribe if you want to follow me on this journey. If you are interested in seeing more of my videos. And I think that's it. I'm going to go eat. See you around.